Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for a special message um, about the sacred male energy. And there were some just amazing events that happened. You're seeing the picture of the cards from the spirit calls it the tribe of the goddess. Uh, there's a little reading posted. I think it's 10 or 11 minutes long. And there were some messages that just didn't come through in that video. And Spirit has asked me to do another reading just for, Spirit saying, for the guys, for the sacred masculine set point, the sacred male energies, all the people who walk in that set point, and all the individuals who kind of like myself. I'm very aware of both my male and my female set point. So I'm going to try to be brief again this morning. It's been an amazing 48 hours. I'm still a little gobsmacked and I'm trying to recover my energy. Although I'm feeling really drawn to just stand still right in this place. So we'll see. My intention was to get the rest of the readings out. I promise they're coming. But there are things that had to happen first, and I'm doing my best to attend to them. So thanks for being patient with me. This is the reading that came out this morning. While we were having our discussion, hang on, I'll toggle over to the cards in a second for the sacred male. So I think the message is brief, but it feels important to me, and Spirit has been urging me on, so I've decided to just go for it. I had a full moon event with some friends, and as I said in that video, we talked a lot about just the history of human adventure, Spirit saying. And the thing that afterwards I realized that I really didn't speak to, and I feel it's really important, is the intense amount of awareness and sadness and love and real devotion that exists in the feminine set point, the goddess, the Gaia principle. A lot of words coming through from Spirit about that. How well aware we are, to the best of our ability, because we haven't had the experiences that you have had, of what it's been like for you. And there were some tears and some deep discussion among that group about, we focus so much in society about what women have been through, and it's true, we have. It's been awful in a lot of ways. While we've been on our Spirit's talking about the road of development, the things that, for reasons that we may not understand, were meant to come forward so that we could struggle against them and come into our place of divinity, so to speak. And there was quite a bit of time while we were doing our incantations and lighting incense and casting spells and things like that in the direction of the sacred male. Tears were flowing about the way in which you have been treated, what has been expected of you, the way in which men have been brutalized in equal measure, very different ways, but equal measure. And so we've all been going through this incredible, thousands of years of journeying away from each other, toward ourselves, and now in these days, back to a center point, Spirit says. Each of us standing really firmly, really clearly in our own place with our own energy set point in order to possess it and recover from the wounds that have been brought forward because of the way human history has been. So I posted that little video yesterday about my experience over 24 hours and what happened when I got home. Just feeling very full. at my heart chakra about everything that had transpired. And Mercury's retrograde, so I'm having some trouble with my software this morning. That picture's not quite centered, but oh well, I'm not going to stress about it. So if you don't know and you haven't seen that video, there was a lot of just real heartfelt love and a desire to do whatever is possible to stand with the sacred male in its own journey of return. Spirit is saying from the awakened feminine, and we just don't hear about it. And like I said, it's important. Spirit really wanted me to speak to that this morning so that with real clarity. So yesterday I got home after that goddess meeting. There was a beautiful stag standing in the meadow in front of my house. And, you guys, those of you that have been following along the channel, you know me, I just burst into tears. And I smashed on the brakes of the car and I just wept and had a really beautiful communication with this creature, the representation of the real power, the stag, the intense power of the male set point. And the beauty of that moment, and my voice is still wavering. My heart is completely cracked open. Perhaps with you, but especially for you. So this morning I got up and I thought, well, I know I had a plan for the day, but I think there's another plan that's coming forward, so I'm just going to go with it. I pulled some cards for you, and here they are. I'm going to go through them really quickly because, again, yesterday I didn't get any readings done, really. Amazing things transpired here. And again, there's the photograph of the cards, and there's something wrong with the viewer. Who knows? Mercury retrograde, so bear with me, if you will. So I'm going to toggle back for a second. So here's this moment that happened, this beautiful stag that arrived here, young, just antlers growing out. And this stag was born in the days of the Lionsgate portal a year ago. And he used to come here with his mother and sort of play in the field and hang around. It was really fun to watch him. He had a sister, and he and his sister would just dance around in the field, and they were just here every day, all summer long. And I haven't seen them this year at all. And I believe that's who that is. And he emerges now fully vested in his own power, growing into himself. And that's what Spirit wants to talk about. So I'm going to toggle back to these cards. Actually, you know what? I'm going to make one more effort to fix this photo, so hopefully you can see it. Let's try that. A little better. All right, so there they are. Those are the things that Spirit wants to speak. Okay. I was going to say speak with you about, but I'm being corrected, and what Spirit is saying is to tell you, to confirm for you, and I think you know. I've heard from some of you. I've been traveling with some of you for a while in a really loving, beautiful way, and thank you for that, by the way. So, I'm sorry, I'm still a little gobsmacked. Let me toggle back. I want to say one more thing about this. So yesterday, this event happened here, and the energy was really intense. And as the day went on, it got, there was a feeling of compression in a way, just more intensity, more intensity, more intensity. And all of a sudden, the sky got really black, and a really violent storm came through, and it kind of went on, off and on all day. And then at the, I'm stumbling for words today again, Mercury retrograde, the apex of the storm, the eye of the storm, maybe? I'm not sure. I thought there was a tornado coming through. It was terrifying. And I stood in my little house, and this house is just poured on a slab. There's no basement. And I thought, well, there's no place for me to go, so I'm just going to stand here. And I'm going to stand a little apart from the window in case the window gets blown in, and I'm just going to watch this. And I was expecting all the trees to come down, and I was worried about my solar panels and my roof, and it was that intense. Um, so the storm passed, the energy cleared, and the sun came out. Again, felt very mystical to me. I tried to venture out in my car, and there were hundreds of trees everywhere. Electricity's out, just total carnage. I don't think it was a tornado. If it was, it didn't pass right through my property, thank goodness. And my roof is intact. My solar panels are still where they were standing. It's a miracle to me. Not one tree came down. My property is completely untouched. And some years back, I had a dream of a similar type of event. I was sitting at a beach, and um, a tsunami came and crashed right down on me. Didn't move me off my spot, and I just sat in the intense energy of the moment. And it was about the return of male energy. It was a journey that I had with a particular individual. It was, for me, part of my training about the things that were going to come into my life, and the way in which I was instructed is how it felt to me to literally just be and be able to exist inside those power elements in order to understand and be able to assist all the things that were coming forward. And so here we are now in this place, and that's the message for you, from the spirit realm. And spirit keeps telling me from the sacred feminine. It's really important that you know loud and clear, with no question in your mind and no question in your heart, about the amount of love and passion and desire and devotion that exists for you, and the awareness of your suffering. So the first card over the top of the reading is the beautiful Augury of Battle. And Spirit just wants me to speak to you just about the divinatory notions that are wrapped inside of the cards today. So the Augury of Battle is about battle. It is about power. It's about strength and will, achievement, advantage, about the gaining of honesty and ethics, self-determination, being vehemently clear and motivated. It is about becoming the active championship of causes and the conquest of difficulties, about great breakthrough. And the card next to that is the beautiful Woman of Knowledge. And she actually is very connected to the King of Battle, who, in his journey through life, had something, his seat of power was severed from him. And he had to go on his own mystical journey in order to regain himself. And Spirit's saying that's what men have been through. And it's time to just call it out and name it and own it as part of our co-walker's journey. So that's my mission this morning. So the Woman of Knowledge picks herbs and flowers for healing from a gravestone. And it is the bones of the journey that you have had that bring forward the beauty of the moments that we're in. And I believe, in a sense, also sort of call out to the sacred feminine for the continuation and the renewal of the co-walker's journey in terms of energy set points. So on the bottom row, the human realm, if you don't know, if you're new, welcome. That is there. First of all, let me just say, that's 3 major arcana cards in a row. And it is, what a powerful eclipse, and the things that came forward. And Spirit saying, and thank the gods, literally the gods, meaning the male deities, for Mars retrograde, and Mercury going retrograde, because that power turns inward in these seasons of retrograde. And we have another amazing event coming forward in the beginning of August. I'm going to post Pam Gregory's video about the eclipse that's coming on the 7th. So check it out because she's amazing, and it's just chock full of information about the implications of the astrology that I could never begin to speak with, or speak to, rather. So here we have this event that happened. Uh, one of the things, cycling back for a minute, the sacred sword of victory and the male transformation, the color of that garment. It's about being in those moments where you sing spells and incantations of your own onto the sword of victory as you prepare to grasp it and go forward into the victory that's meant for you. And so the sole question is, how is it that you are being called to engage and emerge more strongly with life? So the keeper of harmony. My new friend Dave taught me that is the Emperor card. Here in Soul Tarot, similar, just a little different. Now that you have come through this storm, you're in a position of leadership, able to bring forward the harmony of orderly peace, able to be independent, as my friend Sherry would call it, from the patriarchy that has brutalized you in ways that are profound and stolen your essence away. So that's a long discussion. I'm not going to get into it, and I have my own thoughts and feelings about that. And again, Spirit's just saying, it's just time for us all to understand how these things have affected each of us, and then therefore the relationships between us. So here, on the human realm, after the storm, Spirit says, you arise intact, completely intact, with autonomy and authority and benevolence and self-assurance. And the keeper of harmony maintains the order of life. As the father of his people, he will not let them fall into chaos and dissension. And the sole question is, what is the source of your own authority as a human being? And the very next card, beautiful, I love it. Implication Spirit saying about the eclipse that's coming. That is the protector of lore. And there we see the sacred male set point, standing in the full light of the sun, standing on the ground of the ancients. And the illumination of the sun in this illustration has everything to do with abundance. It's about coming into wholeness, attainment, success, being able to regain simple joys and pleasures, being able to be in full possession of your own devotion, coming forward into a time of fortunate meetings and gratitude, deep gratitude for life. There is an openness, a sincerity, and coming into a place of safety after peril and being contented with your circumstances. The protector of lore joins together with the keeper of harmony and brings everything and every being into the realm of simplicity and joy, where it can reveal itself and its gifts naturally. By aligning your true self, things go more smoothly. And it is time for you to step into that place very clearly. This is the human journey that you are about to embark on. And it's not about today, and it's not about the eclipse. It's about going forward. And Spirit's talking about for the rest of your days. These are the gifts that have been bestowed. The next card is the natural progression, Spirit says. That is the beautiful rememberer of lore. It is also a major arcana card, and it is about being the bard. And regaining your voice is what's coming through to me. So it has to do with tradition and mediation and the exposition of ideas, remembrance, genius, performance, spiritual counsel, sacred lore, and faithful maintenance. The remember of lore shows Ogma, the god of language and eloquence, and the creator of the Ogham alphabet. This bard, this sacred bard, was able to, two things is coming through. He holds an instrument, a sacred instrument of vibration. Spirit saying, that is you coming into possession of your own sacred instrument in order to vibrate that energy out. Keep it in a really central position. And Spirit's talking about, take a look at the first card on the human realm and the last card, and you'll see this notion of things coming into a central place of strategy and ability in the full light of the sun, standing in the sacred realm with the ancients and destiny turning in this direction. There was a sacred experience, a mystical experience that travelers, Spirit saying, had when they were able to be on their road, on their journey, and they heard the songs and the poems of the sacred bard. And they were literally drawn in order to have some understanding of their genealogy and divinatory matters. So the rememberer of lore transmits the wisdom of traditions by which we all live, the essential lore that we need to keep ever before us. And Spirit is asking the soul question, what song is guiding you at this time? And I'm assuming this is a known, a given, Spirit says, but please understand, I say it all the time. You are your purpose. It is you, the sacredness of your own being, whatever your journey is. And Spirit always says, it doesn't matter. You have a purpose. You don't have to find it because you are your purpose in ways that are critically important. So the bridge card, love it very much. A prophecy. And there we see, standing in the center row of cards, the bridge card to the sacred realm for this next phase of your journey. A shaman, a shamaness, right? That is the augury of knowledge, a prophecy about your ability to touch the stone of wisdom and be in direct connection with the divine. Spirit is talking about the place between the worlds. So in a way, sort of one foot in this place and one foot in the other place, in order to be a divinatory instrument and come into your rightful place of power and be able to share that in an energetic way. So Spirit's talking, I'm getting interrupted a lot, as you can tell. Spirit's talking all about the energy and talking about the stone of destiny and the stone of coronation. So I'm just, I'm going to show you that picture just in case you forgot. There you are. The place of coronation of kings. And Spirit's chattering in my ear about this is what happened yesterday with the storm. Literally blowing away that which is no longer needed and bringing harmony in all the ways that I've already spoken about. So, the next card, not a surprise to anybody, right? That's the revelation of knowledge. That story has everything to do, obviously, with great shift and change and transformation. And the suit of knowledge in the deck that I use is, Spirit's calling it the termination point. We start with battle, struggle, all the things that come, and then move in from that into a place of, when we move out of the phase of battle, the next thing that comes forward is the development of skills, and then the development of art, the art of one's life. And those things having been completed, or Spirit's correcting me. Okay, Spirit's saying, in the old days, a warrior had a shield. And I don't know if it's true, I'm just going to say it, okay? And on the shield would be painted or carved um, the warrior's story about where they've been and the things they've been through that help them become who they are and how they stand and what they bring forward into a battle or just into their life as they stand into life in their lives. It was a way of announcing oneself. So, sometimes I say this, these kind of things. When this kind of stuff comes through, I feel as though it may be helpful to make yourself a shield. My friend, I have a brother from another mother. We've been traveling together since we were probably 3 years old and just assisting each other because we've both been through a lot. And by magic, he's been through so much and he has developed into one of the most amazing men I have ever met. And we travel together now consciously in all the ways that I've been talking about. Dave, the things that Dave says, the wisdom that comes out of his mouth is always incredibly inspirational to me, partly because it comes from the male set point and his experience as a warrior. And he has taken on the mantle of a warrior. And he talks about the necessity for a warrior to have both a sword and a shield and to know when to use them. So Spirit's talking about go make your shield. I mean, it could be something that you, on a piece of paper, right? Draw it. Somehow possess that and have that with you along with your sword because you are going forward into the days of knowledge in a way that's really profound. So the revelation of knowledge is a numeral 9. Spirit wants you to go and look up the numerology about that. Many of you already know. But it is about accomplishment and practical wisdom and recognition and acknowledgement of many years of lone work. The attainment through conscientious endeavor into the rewards of labor. It is about independence, standing in your place, and having a mature self-image. So Spirit wants me to read this to you. And, in the text of these cards, there are a lot of sort of old Irish Celtic language names. I can't pronounce them. So I'm going to edit a little bit. So this warrior was the sole survivor of the first invaders that reached Ireland. He grew older and older until finally he began to feel a change come upon him. Then his shape changed into different life forms, witnessing each subsequent invasion of the land. As a stag, he saw the arrival of the people from another land, and he began to shapeshift in order to retain his power and do his battle. Eventually, he changed into the form of a hawk and then a fish. The fish was caught by a fisherman, and actually, it was a salmon that he shifted into, great wisdom, the water element. The fish was caught and served to the queen, and when the queen ate the dish, she came and became impregnated with a child that passed to this, the spirit of this warrior passed into her womb. And the warrior who emerged was able to remember everything from each moment, from each of his many forms of existence. So I'm really wanting to hear back from you guys or anyone, forgive me, the personal pronouns nowadays, it's a little challenging, but just understand, I hope everyone knows, it's just about energy, right? So whatever you're experiencing as you transition and as you shift and change, this moment of intense power. So there was a stag in the field last night, or actually it was yesterday morning. Then this intense storm came. And now we see a stag again. And the notion of the revelation of knowledge, the prophecy that supports it, the place in which you stand. And the next card, I love that that's here. Spirit says, it's all about what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's the adventure of battle. It's a story about King Arthur and one of his cousins. And they were playing a game, right? And Spirit's saying, Look at the first card on the human realm. That's what's going on. And Spirit's saying, this is what you've been shape shifting through. And that's why this message of love is coming through to you. It's just important to acknowledge you, I think. So, there's King Arthur, mystical being, mystical king. I'm going to toggle back. Spirit's telling me to do it, so I'm just following directions this morning. A mystical king, going through his own development, finding his own power, dealing with all the things that came across his experience, Spirit's saying. So he's playing a game with his cousin, and we cannot see the other man's face because he was up to no good. He was cheating. He was just kind of being, Spirit says, he was being a prig. And yeah, I could put some other words on it, but I'll resist. You guys know what I'm talking about. In the sky, and again, darn the thought, you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to toggle back again. Hang on a second. There you go. See the birds in the sky? There's a fight going on. And the dove is pierced at the heart chakra and deeply wounded. And again, Spirit's talking about what's been happening for the male energy set point over all these eons. So, this card has to do with futility, with cheating, stealing, development of negative self-esteem and self-sabotage, the experience of undermining others or the self. That is the knowledge that you're coming into. It's not the experience you're having. Well, it may be, but it's not, Spirit says, it's not a slap down. It's just another acknowledgement. And look, the woman of healing is below. And below her is the beautiful protector of lore. So you're being told, we see you and we love you and we're doing everything in our power to help you with the transitions that you are making. Because look at the journey you're having. That's coming out of your male power set point. It's phenomenal. And it is about healing the wounds of the heart chakra that the male energy set point has suffered in equal measure, Spirit says, as the sacred feminine. So, in that story, they're playing this game, and Arthur's cousin was cheating, and they had real armies. So when they moved the pieces of the chess pieces on the board, the armies were actually having a real battle off in another place. And because his partner was not ethical and was not able to rise to the occasion and just be there for an honest battle, there was a lot of wounding, and you can see King Arthur sitting there with his knees drawn up. He's protecting himself. He's feeling very concerned. There's a wounding that's happening at the heart chakra because he loves this person, and yet he knows he cannot trust them. So Spirit's saying, at the end of the story, King Arthur finally just stood up and said, I'm done with this. I will not participate in this way. And he smashed his fist down on the chessboard. All the pieces broke, and the cousin, his army was defeated, and King Arthur just walked away, and it was done. So again, another piece of the messaging. And the next card, self-explanatory. Spirit says the adventure of skill. The new skills that you're learning because of all the things that you've been through that are going to help you carry forward. And when we go in my self-experience, when we go through periods of abuse and things that are hurtful and tragedies and all the things that unfold in the course of a lifetime, if we can attend to our healing slowly over our days, Spirit says, those things become very valuable to us because they light the path forward. They help us know ourselves in very deep ways. And so given all of this transition and the revelation of your power and your self-knowledge and your healing, and Spirit saying the love that actually exists for you in the realm of the sacred being revealed to you, your ability to shapeshift, and the way you remember now, and the way you walk away from those battles, prepared and ready to go on the next adventure of your lifetime. Sitting there in a field of wheat, perhaps you may feel a little insignificant, again, it's a card about the struggles of life and what it is to take up your own power and prevail. And I love the outcome card. I was very happy. Those of you know me who know me will understand why. That this is the beautiful warrior of art emerging from the sacred passage tomb at Newgrange. I have a picture of that somewhere. I'll see if I can find it. So the warrior of art has no weapons. He has no armor. He does not have a shield or a sword. He has magic in his hands. And the beautiful doves fly around his head. He's been into and out of the passage tomb for his awakening. When the time was right and the stars aligned, he came forward, completely transformed and able to do battle, if you will, a new type of warrior, a new type of battle. And he does battle with his heart chakra because his energy has been awakened and he is able to possess it and literally hold it in his hands in order to go forward into that which is meant for him. Okay, while I'm talking, I'm scrolling through the pictures and I'm having trouble finding it because I have so many pictures loaded up into my viewfinder because I have almost a year's worth of readings. Because I like to refer back to them and things like that. So I'm going to keep looking. But Spirit, wants, this picture, of course, having everything to do with the alignment that you are experiencing, that your energy point has experienced in all the ways that it has. Okay, so I'm not finding it. I may have taken it out. Okay. All right, Spirit's talking about this. I'm going to show you one more picture. There you go. There it is. There it is. Newgrange. If you don't know about that place, look it up online, Spirit says. So I think that's it. And this went on way longer than I intended, so thank you for your patience and your presence, and thank you for being who you are. And thank you for the energy set point that you carry that is so deeply needed and valued and desired here. I will look forward to anything that you would like to say. Yeah, we were just talking all about how it's time for you to speak and reminding me there's one thing I forgot to say. The sacred sword in the augury of battle. Interesting little side note, Spirit says that sword actually is activated by the power of the wind. And while the wind was going forward, the worst part of the storm yesterday was just it was shocking. It happened so fast and so violently. And I was kind of standing here going, well, what should I do? Because if my house is about to blow away, I don't want to be standing in it. Like Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, should I try to get in my car and drive away? And finally just thought, no, honey, just stand here because there's nothing you can do about it. So understand, Spirit says, the implication of the power of the winds that are blowing, the violence of that storm after that stag arrived here. The announcement, Spirit says, of this event. Followed by the necessary elements to literally destroy what was no longer needed and to bring forward the power of the sacred male energy. So there is literally no mistake about that. So I welcome you back, and I love you with intensity from the core of my sacred feminine being, and I just want you to know. So that's it. Thank you, everyone.